this. Oh well, it's okay. No, I love that you said that too, because I don't remember if I told you or not. We actually just started using Brivity, and that just had an aha moment for me that we need to just have our admin be maybe doing our posts to our page through Brivity on the Facebook side, because then a lot of that is going to be
Yeah, now
yeah,
you can track
to
it.
learn a
Now
little
you
bit.
can
Yeah,
track it and show it. So when I had sellers going like, well, what are you even doing? I could say, well, here's all the websites that we're on. Here's all the views that we're getting. Here's where we're posting. Here's what we're seeing. Here's the open house. We did this marketing for it. We had this many people come through. Here's showing time. Here's all the other showings that are happening in the area. We're right in alignment with those, And then I ask, I said, what do you feel like we could be doing? And like, let's talk about it. What more would you like? And oftentimes they're like, oh, no, we didn't realize you were doing all this. Yeah, no, yeah. So that's the thing is like, how well are you telling the story
yeah,
in the updates? So if you're 2, 3 months in, the question is, what's our process to update what we're doing, even if there's no updates?
right. And how frequently you do those updates. I think that's where you struggle. Right? You don't, if you do them weekly, you're basically just saying no change, no change. Like this is
So yeah, so there's no
weekly.
change, and yet here's what we're still doing. We've done this, we've done this, we've done this. We posted here, and here's the results so far. And like once you create your system of like where you're looking for your numbers, it's easy to pull those numbers for the call. And then what's beautiful about that, it's just the same thing like with agents. You can't make someone make calls. However, through accountability and scorecards, when everyone has to report that they're not doing anything over and over again, the idea that they have to publicly claim that they're not doing anything may get them to do something. And so if we're telling the seller, hey, here we're putting it here, we're putting it here, we're putting it here, we're not getting any showings, we may need to consider some type of an adjustment, condition or price wise. Like next, and then you're just saying, hey, what would you like to do next? We're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this. We had this many eyeballs, this many eyeballs, this many eyeballs here. No one wants to see it. I think we're the market's telling us our price is off. What would you like to do?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think
the more we communicate it, even if there's no update, but we're still saying, hey, here's all the people that are seeing it online. Because like out of sight, out of mind, I think sellers and buyers, especially like if they're not hearing from us, they're assuming we're not doing anything. Because the reality is there are a lot of agents that aren't doing anything. And
yeah.
that's a problem.
And I think sometimes we feel like, oh, we just got to post something on Facebook because they follow our Facebook page, and then it's just doing them a favor, truly, or like we feel like we're doing them a favor because they're going to see it visually and feel like we're taking action. But I like where you're going with the behind the scenes. What are we actually doing? The things that make sense, because posting continuing to post our for sales on our Facebook page aren't really going to generate a ton of traffic. It's not going to get a lot of eyes on it. It's more the bigger scale. What are we doing behind the scenes with our websites and different things that are, pushing that out?
The more
Um,
systematized and automated those things are, the easier it is for you to be able to share that info.
how um how often should you be contacting those sellers when the things are not going under contract? Like
Let
I
me let
literally
me let me ask you this. Can you
Mhm.
ever over communicate with a seller that's sitting there not selling?
I don't know because I've had 3 this spring that have not sold quickly. And one of the guys literally told me he wanted an update every night. And then another person told me, you do not have to call me every couple days. Like that's what they told me. Like you don't, they're like, I know you're working, I know you're trying to get it sold. Don't worry about it. And so I'm like, I mean, I don't know if it's better to just
So
physically ask them or just tell
Brooke,
them.
Brooke,
Mhm.
so what's your process?
Well, I had always waited like every couple days, and I told them that up front
So
that if
just
we didn't,
so that's it. So just say,
yeah.
this is what I do for my sellers. I'm
Mhm.
going to call you every Tuesday to let you know what's going on with our marketing. If you
Mhm.
have questions before then, obviously reach out to me, but know that we're going to connect every Tuesday and I'm going to let you know what's going on, even if there's nothing really to update you with.
Mhm. Okay.
And just, it's your process. You get to control it. So the person that wants daily, I'm going to say,
Mhm.
hey, that's a really interesting. Tell me a little bit more about what you're hoping to hear daily, because we're going to update you every week, right?
Mhm.
What are you hoping is going on? And then just listen and say, okay. So
Yeah.
that's cool. Just know that those things are happening, or hey, appreciate you for sharing that. Right. I may not have an update for you every day, but I am going to be communicating with you every week on what's going on with our marketing.
Okay. So if a house is sitting, it's completely fair to only talk to them once a week.
Unless, yeah, I mean, unless they got
Yeah,
other,
unless something happened. I'm just wondering because I thought that was pretty normal. I know when I was on a team, she had a thing where it was every Friday. She like, had a conversation with them. And I was like, she was doing it once a week.
Mhm. That's, I mean, I feel like the once a week is a minimum standard.
Hmm. Oh,
Anything,
that's why I thought every few days was fine. And I said, that's why I told them. I told them, and I actually told them the exact days that I would call them, like of the week.
I mean, if you have the bandwidth for every few days, cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have a time block once a week for all of my listings,
Yeah.
right, to update them on what's going on. Just know that like on their side, they only have one property for sale. You know,
Yeah.
you may be working nine contracts, but they have
Yeah.
one. That's all they're thinking about. So the
I
more,
know that's why I was trying to be respectful of them, but I was like, this is getting to be a lot. And I was also curious, you're talking about the stuff that you're recording on Brevity. What all kinds of things are you talking about? Like obviously I know social media posts and things, but what other stuff are you referring to?
are you asking me or are you asking Michelle?
Both of you. I'm looking at both of you on my screen.
Looking at you. Um, so brevity for us is like full A to Z from transaction
Mm.
beginning and everything. So we record everything in there from calls to emails to any kind of action that was taken. We set up their searches through Brivity too, instead of the MLS, so we can see every time they look at anything. Same thing with like if you've got someone that's has a current listing, we're setting them up on that same search, not so that they can, search for properties, but so that they can see what's new and comparable to them. So just pretty much anything and everything that is happening with that person.
Mm-hmm.
Brooke, do you use showing time in your market?
Yes.
Okay. Do you set your clients up on showing time too? Like so
Yes.
that they can see
And
all the
I
feedback?
encourage them to get
Yes.
the app so
Yes.
they can see everything and follow along. And if the house is vacant, I honestly do not usually do go and show unless it's just like something that's going to be absolutely a revolving door. I still confirm all of them and I let them know that they can confirm it or I can confirm it. But if they live in the house, I want them to confirm it. I give them like 15 minutes or so. If they haven't confirmed it, I might shoot them a text and say, hey, just want to make sure you saw that. But it obviously depends too on what time it is.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that's one of my favorite like automated ways to communicate with them when we're actually getting showings, right? And then when there's
Yeah.
feedback, being able to share that feedback with them right through the app so you don't have to necessarily have a phone call, but they still feel like you're communicating with them too.
Yeah. I just feel like some people, the anxiety is so high. And I am trying very hard to like tone down their anxiety on. I mean, and I said this is what we discussed beforehand, like the average house is sitting on the market for 42 days in that neighborhood, like, and so I kind of just keep trying to take them back to our conversation we had beforehand. So just hard sometimes.
Think sometimes we fail to acknowledge the fact too, like, I know this is hard for you, or I know this
Mhm.
is anxious, I know this makes you anxious, or you seem anxious, right? Calling out those feelings right
Yeah.
out the bat. And I think sometimes, like for us, we don't have a whole lot to say, so it feels kind of, I, I don't know, we've shifted, right? It used to be listings just flew off the shelf. You didn't have to have these conversations with people, and now things have shifted, and it just feels like what did I do 4 years ago when this happened before? And then you don't almost, I don't know, don't want to call them because you don't have anything new to say. But I guess, Matt makes a good point, needing to put ourselves in their shoes and just be like, okay, yeah, if I were the seller, what would I want? I'd probably still want to hear that, we don't have any news, that just that reassurance that you're still working for me and you haven't ghosted me.
Mm.
yes. Yeah, there's that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the people who call me on a daily basis and like multiple times a day, and they want to know what's going on, and I don't even know how to, I don't know how to deal with it. Like I really don't. I know I can deal with a lot of things, and I do not know, because I mean, I feel like I'm just repeating myself on like repeat all the time, the same conversation over and over.
Well,
So
first you need to start at your listing appointment to set that boundary.
just
You've
Mhm.
got to have that
Yeah.
conversation before you're even live on the market.
Yeah. That's
and,
the
and
thing. I have.
it could be simply as this, Brooke. Just say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, like I know you're super excited and you're thinking about this every single day. So here's our marketing plan. This is what we're doing behind the scenes every single day. I'm gonna be updating you every week on what we've done and what the results are. Now, you're welcome to call and ask, but just know that like all of this stuff is going on and I may not be able to answer you every single day in real time, but like just know that every week we're going to go through all of this and I'm going to share with you the results of what's happening. Fair? Because I know you're thinking about it every single day, and so am I. It's just I don't want to bombard you with calls every single day, which is why we'll just keep it to once a week.
It's hilarious you say that, because I did say I don't want to bombard you with calls, and the one guy goes, "No, I want to hear from you every time somebody shows the house.
You're
I
like,
want
and
to hear from
I
you." And I'm
get
like,
that. I get that. I get that. But there's just really no way for me to do that every single day. So
yeah,
we're absolutely going to update you weekly for sure.
okay. I
Just
just
know
want you to
inside your
know I
heart that this
did
stuff's
address
happening.
this before in my listing presentation, and
Yeah.
I could screenshot the whole group, the number of times I've let the call go to voicemail, because I'm like, no, I am, if I answer all of those calls, all I'm doing is teaching them that I will answer the call every single time.
Yeah. Correct.
And I'm in other appointments. I'm doing other things. So,
As
and the one person is, this has been going on since like, I'm not kidding you, October. We didn't put the house on the market until March, and we are under contract and we're supposed to be closing next week. So, but it's been going on since October. Daily phone calls.
You're going to get one of those odd birds once in a while. And sometimes there's just, you've done everything you can and just take a deep breath. You're almost to the end.
So keep this in mind and keep this in your back pocket. When you had no deals, you prayed for people like this. That's
I
all.
seriously just said something like that to my mom. I was like, there was a time I would have like wanted this, and then now I'm like, oh, like just stop.
Just always flip that script and just go, when I had no deals and it's been 90 days since a closing, I would have loved for this problem.
Yeah.
That's it.
Brooke, I feel like I should challenge you because this is a challenge I'm kind of taking on myself, right? You and I are very both like big empaths. We're pretty good talkers. But sometimes we maybe say too much.
Yeah.
I am working on, working through like I read The Full Fee Agent, working through like the whole tactical empathy and like rewording the way I say things and being more like changing the way that my conversations go. I feel like that's something we could maybe even do something offline, like together, like book
Yes,
club it.
I will sign up for any time. I honestly meant to do this other one that you were doing. It just coincided with a fitness one that I was doing. And it was like, I can't do everything.
But I feel like if we focus more on the words that we're saying and how we're saying things, and changing it more to be focused on making them feel like we hear what they're saying versus trying to calm them down. Like our job isn't necessarily to calm them down, it's to acknowledge their feelings and then present the facts. So maybe that's something we can work on together.
I would really love that.
Awesome. Anyone else final thoughts? Well, hey Audra, good to see you. Welcome back. So go ahead. Say it. What?
So one more week.
Oh, that's it. One more week.
Week.
Just I would say this conversation is all about this, right? All frustrations just simply come from unmet expectations. So the question is, if you got frustrated sellers, what is an expectation that they have that we're missing or that we haven't set correctly? So once we set an appropriate expectation, that can relieve or remove a lot of frustration. So just again, when you feel like there's resistance or frustration in any kind of interaction, get curious. Hey, what's an expectation that they feel isn't being met? And sometimes just ask it. Hey, what would you like to have happen right now? Like what? Help me understand. And then just simply say, okay, I get that. So communication is important to you. Good. Here's what we're going to do. Every week we're doing this. You can expect that. Or and just set the standards, set the expectation. They can go, well, I'd like more. But like, you're welcome to ask for more, but I don't really have more to update you with other than weekly. And I'm going to share with you all the things. And it really makes a lot more sense to do it weekly because then we've got some days and data to compile. I can't really give you an appropriate like snapshot of the market day by day. I can weekly though. Cool. I have to jump off a couple minutes early because I got a 9:30. I got to absolutely be on before. So I'm gonna let you guys continue this out and finish it out and keep talking. But I gotta go.
Hey, Michelle, I want to add to that. You know, the rest of them don't know about that seller who pulled his house off the market, but that's actually the third time that I've had that happen just since they're not going and using a different agent. They're just pulling their house off the market and they're not going to sell it now. So I've kind of toyed with a couple different things, like of putting in my listing agreement that if one of the guys, he gave it 22 days on the market and then his friend offered, to move in with him. So he just was like, oh, I'm not going to sell my house now, but I'm $1,500 in to his listing. So I've been wondering, does anybody like put in their agreements or anything that if the person, like pulls their house off the market before a certain time period, that they get reimbursed for like their pictures and all that kind of stuff. So I've thrown it around because it's happened 3 times just since January. And like I said, they're all different situations. One of them was somebody who's in a really bad financial situation, totally understood why they did it, didn't. And then the other one was a divorce situation. The husband decided to just buy the wife out of the house. And then this last one was somebody that the fiance has to move to Pennsylvania for surgical residency. And so he had an opportunity for a friend to move in. So he took it. So I don't know. I've just thought about it. I don't know how it would go. I'm just like, I'm tired of putting all this money and time and energy into people's listings and then they just pull them off the market.
Yeah, I do.
Because
I
they
put
didn't
it in, I don't remember where the section is, but I put if this listing terminates for any reason, agent will be reimbursed for videography, photography, and marketing fees. And I also, Bria, printed out copy of the listing agreement whenever I have listing appointments. And we specifically go over that part. And I've never had anyone balk at it. I tell them, look, I'm going to do my best to sell the house, but it takes cooperation, and that includes you cooperating with me if the price isn't right, if people are coming in complaining about something needs to be fixed or something is just ugly. And I also explain to them, I can fire you if you're not cooperating with me and trying to help me get this house sold. You still have, I'll terminate. And it kind of, oh, well, you're not working for me, you're working with me.
Yeah. I like that you do have something in there, like they have to agree. I think that's the hardest thing is when you get sellers that don't want to come down on price. They don't want to take your advice. And I kind of like having that as a upfront expectation. Audra, did you have something to add too?
I was going to say basically the same thing as Tess. I have a marketing fee that goes with any listing, that if they don't have to write me a check up front, but if they were to terminate, they are owed that amount to cover those expenses. And if it does make it all the way through to closing, it's just wrapped up in their closing costs. But yes, and then I have had a lot of sellers ask for pictures. Then that's also, I don't know if that's common. I don't have, not everybody, but I've had a lot. They're like, oh, we want those pics. They're so good. And it's all sentimental, right? And then if that, then they own the pictures, they can do what they want with them after the listing. So they're basically buying them from me. So, but yeah, I put a marketing fee in there. And so that way it has to be, it's going to be different based on what region you're in, right? Like here, $500 and I'm good. It's going to cover what I need it to cover. I know another agent up in Minnesota, his is 1,000. It really just depends on your market, but make sure it's enough that it will cover those expenses.
Well, and the reason mine was 1,500 is just because I did like photo, video, like, floor plan. I did a staging consultation because it kind of had a frat house feel, like in the, the guy was single when he built the house. And so just things like, Sadie, stop. Sorry. I don't even know if you can hear my dog. She's barking. But yeah, so that's how I bought them a rug for like their master bedroom. I let them use all my staging stuff. I wasn't charging them for using all my staging stuff. So I was like $1,500 in to, like, by the time I did mailers and all that kind of stuff. But I wouldn't say $1,500. I need to ask for that. But I mean, it was still a lot. I did like 3 open houses there and stuff like that.
I would go back to your broker and just ask the best way to put that language in for your state. But it sounds like others are doing it. That's something we've talked about implementing on our team too. I don't think it's bad because then it gets your sellers to understand that as well, kind of what's going
Yeah,
on.
that you have an investment, because I'm like, maybe I did not explain well enough in my appointment that my investment and my commitment. And I do remember telling them when he made some comment to me, I said, I want to get your house sold. Like, I don't have any benefit if your house, doesn't sell and stuff. And he goes, oh, no, I know that. I wasn't trying to be offensive or anything to you. He was like, I'm just like frustrated that, we're still on the market. And I told him, I understand.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we are past time. We will see you guys on Monday. Have a good weekend.
Thanks.